Hello everyone, this lesson is on the three properties when we work with multiplication. So the vocabulary is going to sound similar, but it's a little bit different from our addition properties. This is now working with multiplication, so please keep in mind it's a little bit different. And I'm going to show you each one in this video for you so you have all three in one. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and define each one and show you an example, and then you guys should be good to go. So the first property that we're working with is called the associative property. So that might sound familiar, but when we think associative, we think about which one is grouped together. And the associative property of multiplication states that no matter which two numbers are grouped, you're still going to come out with the same product. So let's say I had 2 times 10 times 4. What if I start multiplying across to solve this, and first I want to multiply my 10 times 4, and then finish solving and see what I get? So according to associative property, I should get, whatever answer I get, I should get the same answer if I group the 2 and the 10. So I'm going to show it both ways. So, most importantly, if you're showing the associative property, you need to use the same digits from the original equation. Using parentheses, you're going to group two different numbers together and see if you come out with the same answer. Remember, parentheses tell you to solve what's in the parentheses first. So here, I need to do 10 times 4 first, which would give me 40. And then I still have my 2 left over to multiply. And 2 times 40 is 80. If the associative property is true, I should still get 80 as my answer over here. So let's see. So over here, my 2 and my 10 are in the parentheses, and I need to solve that first. So 2 times 10 is 20, and then I have to multiply that still by 4, and that gives me 80. Look at that. It does work. Let's try another one before we move on to commutative. What if I had 40... Actually, let's just do 4. We'll keep it simple. What if I had 4 times 6 times 12? Okay. All right. So in one of the equations, I'm going to group the 4 and the 6 together and then multiply it times 12 and see what I get. And over here, I'm going to group the 6 and the 12. And according to associative property of multiplication, I should still get the same answers. Here we go. All right, so 6 times 4 is 24, and I need to multiply that times 12, so I'm going to stack it and solve. And I'm just going fast here because our lesson is not on the steps through this, so hopefully you guys have seen that in my other lesson. But I end up with 288 as my answer. So if I use associative property, I group the 6 and the 12 and multiply that first. I should still get 288. So let's go ahead and stack 12 times 6. It's 72, and then I still need to multiply that times 4. So I'm going to stack it and do 72 times 4. And look at that. I get 288. Okay, so what did we do? We took an original multiplication problem, and it's always where you're multiplying at least 3 or more numbers together. So keep that in mind, because you need to group 2 numbers and then show that you get the same answer by grouping 2 other numbers, and you should still get the same answer. I should still get the same answer if I grouped the 4 and the 12. And let's just prove that right here real quick. What if I did 12 times 4 first, and then multiplied that times the 6? I should still get the same answer. And look at that. I do. All right, you guys, so there's associative property, all about grouping, showing that no matter what you group, you should still get the same answer when you multiply. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you the commutative property. The commutative property is all about the order, right? So let's say I had 2 times 1 times 3. If I did this in order means following a specific pattern. I have to go from left to right. 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. I should still get the same answer based on the commutative property if I switch the order using the same 3 digits. What if I did 1 times 2 times 3? Well, 1 times 2 is 2, and 2 times 3 is 6. Works so far. What if I did 3 times 2 times 1? Well, 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 1 is 6. There you go. That's commutative property. using the same 3 digits, but just switching the order up and multiplying across, you will get the same answer. The last one I'm going to show you is called the identity. This one is probably the easiest. Remember the identity property. Think of yourself, your identity, the number stays the same. Basically what I'm saying is any number times a 1 is itself. What's 17 times 1? 17. What's 10,000 times 1? 10,000. What is 48 times 1? 48. So do you see the pattern? Anything times 1 is itself, and that is the rule of the identity property with multiplication. So what you're going to find in this lesson is they're going to ask you to go ahead and identify what the product is by showing each of the steps, okay? So it's either going to switch the order, which is commutative, it's going to multiply it by a 1, which is identity, or it's going to use parentheses and group 2 different numbers, and that's going to be your associative. All right, you guys, I hope that helps you out with whatever you're working on.